Again, I really don't know what happened. I'm going to go ahead back to the beginning of the second signature because I don't know where exactly it cut off. So I will just jump right in and finish where I was. Here is a Home and Gardens, vintage Home and Gardens page. This pretty house. Here's another piece of that. Is another piece or another side? I don't know. Here's a piece of that vintage, really old vintage Bible word search. Some yellow lined paper, some tracing paper. Here's that really pretty artsy scrapbook paper. And another vintage sewing pattern book. I've got 3 of them in different sizes, so there's different ones in here. Here's an envelope. Here's that biographical name dictionary page. This was from TLC Creates Vintage, and I printed it on regular paper instead of the cardstock paper. Here's a page from that Ancient Civilizations book. Here's a leather cutoff, some coffee dyed paper, the end of the Sudoku. So it's not doubling. I had already showed this before. I just wanted to go back and start at the second one. And here's some children's lined paper and some gardening pages that talks about like asparagus and beans and different vegetables. And here's this. This is the Gazette funny pages, and I thought it went well with Happy Thought. This poem's about happy thoughts, funny pages, so I thought that went well together. And that's from that little golden book. And here is a vintage children's dictionary page. And here's another page that was punched, but this one is not on the thicker cardstock paper. It's just on normal printer paper. And here is another double-sided scrapbook paper piece, so it's nice and sturdy. Some vintage music paper, and I did reinforce it with some washi there. And then here is a adult coloring book page with this metallic background. And this book paper has more of like a purple bluish color paper, whereas the one on the front had green writing. And then here is this map page with all the pretty colors. And on the back it talks about knowing your soil. And that's what this map was. It was talking about the different like soils in different areas. And that is the middle of the signature. There's the flip side of the map, and the purple page has a little dog, and the coloring book page, and here's the other side of that vintage music paper, and I washi taped it to reinforce it on the flip, and then it's reinforced where it was sewed in. Here's the back of that double-sided scrapbook paper, so it's nice and thick, and the paper that was edge punched, and the children's dictionary page. And there's the other side of the little golden book poem, and the funny pages, and the planting gardening page, children's book page, the back of the Sudoku. Those things are so fun to do. Coffee dyed paper, the leather scrapbook paper, the ancient civilization paper, the back of that TLC page, the dictionary page, and there's the little flap of the envelope, so you could either, glue it down if you wanted, or glue something to it, or, whatever you want. And there's the other side of that sewing book page, and the back of that scrapbook paper, tracing paper, yellow lined paper, and then there's that Bible word search. So like I was saying, if you wanted to do it, you could, go to the other side, write down the words, and then come over here and find them if you wanted to. Another vintage book page, and that is the end of the second signature. And then in this third signature, I have this really pretty graph paper that I got from Aaliyah that has been splatter coffee dyed. It's nice and crinkly. I love that paper. And this is from a vintage children's book right there. And there's that leather scrapbook page. And there's the envelope. Oh, this envelope, I don't know if it's picking it up on camera, but it's kind of got like this crackle look to it. So you could stick something in that if you wanted. And this one has been glued shut. Here's another vintage book page, and I just liked the colors in it. Here's the cutoff from that artsy scrapbook paper, and then you could always cover this with washi or glue something on it. If you wanted, I could cover it with washi for you. This is a coffee dyed print from Nick the Booksmith. I got her eco dyeing, and I have a bunch of them printed off because I love adding them to my junk journals. So I just put one of those in here, nice and pretty. Vintage book page, and this is some craft card. There's that ancient civilization. I think this is the only one that was in here 3 times. I think I put a page from the ancient civilization book in here, one in each signature because I don't get to use it very often. And then here's a really super old vintage children's book page. And again, I reinforced it with some washi. And here's coffee dyed lined paper. And this piece right here, I actually got from Elizabeth. So it's funny that she's buying it because that was actually hers. And then here's the cutoff from that jean paper. And this is from a really, really old sewing pattern book. And this is from another one of those like house plant, vintage house plant books. I like how one side's colored and then the other side is black and white. This is from a really old vintage. It's all about clocks, and I liked all the images in it. I actually bought this from Danny at Junk Journals and More Shop when she was doing Indie Stash, and it's a really thick book, and it has all these cool illustrations in it. And again, I reinforced it with some washi tape. And this I got from Aaliyah, and I thought the red went well with the red over here. It's an old bridge plain paper. And then here is another double-sided piece of cardstock. It has these pretty flowers, and I liked the blue in it with the cover. So it's nice and thick. Here's some crinkly packing paper. Here's another one of those Sudoku coloring pages. So you can do the puzzle. It's got the whole box, and then you can color it. Or you can cover it. Whatever you decide. Here's the cutoff from the Gazette Funny pages. And this is one of those sheets that go into a binder. I wasn't able to add it in like normal. I had to cut off the holes that are on the side, which I really should have just turned it inside out, and then I probably could have done it differently. But anyways, that's from one of those. And that's the middle of the signature, and it's got some bird washi on it. And then we're on the flip side. So there's that. There's the funny pages, the Sudoku, the packing paper, the double-sided scrapbook paper, the bridge page, the clock page. This is the plants in the dining room, and again, black and white in the color, so that's neat. The really old sewing paper, the jean paper, the page from Elizabeth, scrapbook paper, coffee dyed lined paper. So there are some coffee dyed things in here, like the back of the Nick the Booksmith printable, some coffee dyed papers, coffee dyed lined paper. I just didn't like specifically coffee dye anything for this like I normally do with my junk journals. I just kind of pulled from my stash. Here's that really, really old children's book page that again has been reinforced with washi. There's the other side of that ancient civilization book. I don't get to use it very often, and I really kind of liked the images, gave it something different. Some craft card. This is an old, I think it's talking about food. I think it's a gardening page though. There is the Nick the Booksmith eco dyed page. And there's that cut off from the artsy page, book page. There's that envelope with the crackle, and then on this side it kind of has like a Colosseum looking thing. And there's the other side of that leather looking scrapbook paper that really old children's, oh, sorry, I'm looking at the camera now. I cannot tilt this right. Sorry, guys. I like the colors in it. And there's that page from Aaliyah. And then there is the back of it. And now that is it for this glue book. Oh, I've been twisting it twice because otherwise it's kind of loose. But I wanted to make sure there was plenty of room so you can grow, because right now it's pretty flat. But once you start gluing all that stuff in there, that elastic, you know, will tighten over time. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened the first time I was doing this video. So I'm sorry that it's 2 parts, but there it is. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.